Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all well. So in this video I'm going to quickly run through a retouch for a fashion shoot that I did recently for a client out on the beach on a wonderful stormy overcast day. This is the finished picture right here, and I'll just show you the before. This is what we actually started with. So I'm going to go through the process of how I've created this, and I'm going to bring up another image and we're going to work on that. So I'll just bring one up here. These are the selects from the client. So I'll pull this guy in over here, and we'll go through and we'll work on this one here. Now, the first thing I did was I created a new layer, and I'm going to start off with the bottom area here. I'm just going to close these guys down. Just remove this, give us a bit of space. I'll get the marquee tool, which is over here. I'm going to draw out a rectangle, and the rectangle needs to be long enough to go to the edge and wide enough to cover that top area there. So that looks good to me. And then I will use the eyedropper tool, and I will alt and I will sample this color here, which is the color of the foam board. And then I'll just do a Alt and backspace, and I will fill that with the same color. Now we zoom out, we can see that looks pretty good. The next step will be using on another layer, I get the pen tool, and I'm just going to draw around this edge a little bit wider than the actual board, just so it's around the edge. Go right to the back. Looks good. Right click, make selection. I don't want to feather it. Click the eyedropper tool, pick this color, which is a bit whiter, and then I will alt and backspace that as well. So now I've got the surface. Now obviously we're cutting into the model's legs. So what I'll do is I'll just turn this guy off. I'll get my quick selection tool, and I'll draw around the model's. I'll make sure I'm on the bottom layer. I'll draw around the model's feet and around her clothing, around her ankles, and it doesn't have to be perfect at this stage. It just has to be fairly accurate. That looks pretty good to me. I'll come back up to this guy, and I will hold down the Alt key, and I'll click the mask, and then I will make sure that is set like that. And there we have the floor. Now the floor is very white, so I reduced this to about 70%. That looks pretty good. And then all I will do is I'll make the brush nice and big at about 30%. And I will just paint this little shadow area back in. Like that. So it still has a sense of realism, but it's just cleaned up a little bit, which is important. So we've got the forward bit, we've got the back section here, and now if you notice we still have these pegs from before, so I'll just come directly to my original layer. I'll get the stamp tool, I'll just clone stamp all of this out. I'll hold down the shift key, that'll give me a clone with a straight line. Let's take some of this from over here. Let's click and shift click, get rid of that. And then we'll do the same. I'll come over here, click and shift click, and get some of that from there. And then again, I'll do the same over here. I'll just clone out like so. And I'll turn that layer back on, and then we're all right. So there we go. That's that bit sorted out. Let's do the backboard now. Make a new layer. Get the marquee tool. I'll select all of this. Let's come out a little bit so we've got the full width. I'll hold down the Alt key, pick this back color. Alt and backspace, fill that, turn it off, come back onto this guy, mask out what I need here, and I'm just going to do it fairly rough. I'm going to make sure I get the hand in as well. come back onto the mask, Alt and click, bring that back, and then I will get my brush, set to white, set to black even, and then I'm just going to, a couple of clicks on the hair, I'm just going to bring the edge back, click in here, bring that back, and anywhere where the edge looking a little bit too perfect, you want to keep all those original hairs. That's going to give us a nice finish. And then the final thing is I'll make a stamp visible all layer, and I'll throw on my Alien Skin Exposure 2 preset, and that's given us that beautiful kind of darker tone. And then I will click on the mask tool and I'll make sure I mask back in the original color of the garment, because although I like the color of the filter, what we don't want to be doing is in any way affecting the colors of the clothing. So I'll bring back the original color of the clothing there, keeping the other wonderful values and tone of the rest of the picture. So you can see we're just giving it that nice kind of moody look. And that's pretty much that image complete. Hopefully you found this video useful. As always, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.